Very good morning to all of you, my friends. Welcome back after a long break. I hope you guys are doing good. Further, I hope you guys have done all the questions of study material of the chapter, specifically what I have discussed. Apart from this, you are well prepared with your query sessions, well prepared with your queries. So before starting with the queries, guys, let me cover some part of material costing, wherein we were not being able to discuss Fifo method, LIFO method, weighted average method, and simple average method in detail. So initially, I'll be discussing that part, and thereafter we will start with your queries. We'll be starting the queries right from the last chapter what we discussed, that is marginal costing, because the chapters which are much more important from examination point of view. So we'll be starting with those chapter only, and then we'll move backside. I mean, so very good, Ritika. Same here, Preeti. Akash Neil, don't worry. I'll be discussing all your queries. Same here, Ankit. Very good morning, Arvind. Same here. So guys, let's start with the first of all, what the part that is left out, that is stores ledger, how to maintain the stores ledger. So when talking about the recording of the stock of raw material, we'll be discussing this part herein. Now, when talking about the financial accounts, they do keep only the monetary part. They do keep the track only of the monetary part. But when talking about cost accounting, they do maintain the record from quantity prospects also and from monetary prospects also. Now, as far as accounting standard 2 is concerned, it covers only two methods, that is Fifo method and weighted average method. But from academic point of view or from examination point of view, examiner can ask any of the method, that is Fifo method, LIFO method, weighted average method, and simple average method. So we'll be discussing all the methods in detail, and then we'll start with your queries. Same here, Manthanjali. Very good morning. So guys, I repeat again, when talking about from the perspective of accounting standard 2, it gives, it talks about only FIFO method and weighted average method. But since examiner do ask questions on LIFO method and simple average method also, so we'll be covering these methods also. 1 second, guys. So let's start with first of all the stores ledger part, wherein we'll be starting with FIFO method first. First in, first out. So do costing account do keep a track on the quantity as well as the price. So we'll be making the separate column for quantity and price. So first of all, the first column that we will be maintaining will be the date part, the particulars, now we'll give three bifurcation. First will be the receipts. Is there any receipt of material? Issue and balance. Further, when talking about receipts also, As I said, that cost accounting do maintain the records of the quantity and the price also, that is the financial as well as the monetary as well as the non-monetary terms. So we'll make separate column for quantity and price and the total amount. Similarly, for issue also quantity, price and total amount, and the balance also quantity, price and the total amount. So this is how the stores ledger will be prepared. Yes, Tanishka, very good morning. I'm getting your messages. I hope I'm audible to all of you guys. Sorry, Siddhappa, I won't be taking the queries on budgetary control, my dear. Sandhya Agarwal, whatever the doubts you have as far as the marginal costing is concerned, I have covered all the topics in detail. Yes, few decision-making problems are there, but you can easily solve the decision-making problem if you are thorough with the concepts. Still, if you have any doubts, Sandhya, then you can raise the query. I'll try to address all your queries, Sandhya. I think you were having a doubt in one of the illustrations of key factor. I think it is illustration number. I need to check. So there is one question for you're talking about double key factor. So I'll be discussing that question also. Sandhya, don't worry. Same here, Tanishka. I'll be taking all the queries of all the chapters, but yes, initially I'm discussing the stores ledger because many students told me that, sir, please discuss this part in detail. So I'm discussing accordingly. Admin sir, are you there? Admin sir, are you there? Admin sir? My voice is loud and clear and audible to all? Okay, sir. So let's start, guys, with the Fifo method first. So let's say a company maintains the Fifo method for as far as stores ledger is concerned. So let's say on 1st January, my opening balance is, it is given in the question, let's say on 1st January, my opening balance is 500 units and the price is 10 rupees per unit. So we'll write directly in the balance column, that is 500, the price is 10 and the total amount is 5,000. I repeat again, we are discussing Fifo method, that is first in, first out method. I'm discussing, Manthanjali, the remaining part of material cost control. So now the opening balance is given in the question. Let's say 500 units is the opening balance and the rate per unit is rupees 10 per unit. So the total amount will be 5,000. Now let's say on 5th January, we do purchase, let's say 600 units. So it will go in the receipt column. Since it is a receipt of material, we can mention the bill number also. So let's say we purchase 600 units at the rate rupees 10 per unit. So the total amount will be 6,000. There is no issue of material. So now when talking about the balance part, we have 500 quantity which is cost at the rate 10 and 600, sorry, let's keep it 11 only. And we have 600 quantity with the cost of 11. So herein the total value is 5,000 and herein the total value is 6,600. This is the best way to present, Somesh. Okay, Rekha, don't worry. I'll discuss the questions of marginal costing. Don't worry, my dear. Now let's take one more date, wherein let's say on 8th January also, again the company purchased 300 kgs of raw material at the rate 15. So the total cost will be 4,500. And since there is no issue, so when talking about the balance part, it will be 500 pieces at the rate 10, 600 pieces at the rate 11, and 300 pieces at the rate 15. So total 5,000, 6,600 and 4,500. This is the balance of material we have. Now let's say on 15 January, the production department raised a material requisition that we need, let's say 700 kgs of raw material. It is not necessary, but if it is given in the question, then it is advisable. So let's say on 15 January, the production department raised a material requisition. We can mention the requisition number also, wherein they requested for 700 kgs of raw material. I repeat again, they have raised a request for 700 kgs of raw material. Now, since there is no purchase of raw material, so the receipt column will be empty. Now, very important guys, since this is a first in first out method, मतलब जो पहले purchase किया है वो पहले issue होगा. So, when talking about the 700 kgs, 500 kgs will be issued that were purchased at the rate rupees 10, and the balance 200 kgs will be issued from this 600 units which were purchased at the rate 11. So 5,000 and 2,200. So the value of material issued will be 7,200. So when talking about the balance, this part is already gone, and from these 600 units, 200 units are issued. So we are left out with 400 units which are costing 11 rupees and 300 units which are cost of rupees 15 per unit. So 4,400 and 4,500. I repeat again, the name itself says first in, first out. It means the raw material that is purchased first will be issued for production first. So herein, there is a requisition from the production department that we need 700 kgs of raw material. So of these 700 kgs, 500 kgs will be issued, which were purchased which were actually purchased last year, and that was our opening balance. So these 500 units will be issued first, and when talking about the remaining 200 units, they will be issued from 600 units which were purchased at the rate 11. Very good morning, Shivam. Yes, Mohammad Farad, this is the format, my dear. Now let's say on 18 January, let's say again the company purchased some raw material, let's say 500 kgs. let's say at the rate 12 rupees. So the total amount will be 6,000. Since there is no issuance of material, so when talking about the balance part, very simple. We have 400 units which were purchased at the rate 11, 300 units which were purchased at the rate 15, and now we have 500 units more which were purchased at the rate 12. So 4,400, 4,500 and 6,000. Now let's say again the production department issues a requisition that they need, let's say 800 kgs of raw material. So very simple, again on 25th January they need 800 kgs of raw material. So we will issue 800 kgs. Now when talking about 800 kgs, very simple guys, 400 kgs will be issued. Which were purchased at the rate 11. 300 kgs will be issued which were purchased at the rate 15. And remaining 100 units will be issued which were purchased at the rate 12. So 4,400, 4,500 and 1,200. So now when talking about the balance part, we will be left out with only 400 units which were purchased at the rate 12. So I hope you guys are now thorough with how to present if the examiner do ask us Fifo method. Let's say on 28 January again there is a purchase of 100 units at the rate 10. So the total amount will be 1,000. And when talking about writing the balance part, 400 units at the rate 12, that is 4,800, and 100 units at the rate 10, that is 1,000. So this is the way the Fifo method is prepared. I mean the ledger as per the Fifo method is prepared. Now every company do check the physical stock with the records. So let's say as per the books, we should be having at least 500 kgs of raw material. But after doing the physical verification, there is a shortage of raw material. I repeat again, guys, as per the book, we should have at least 500, we should have 500 kgs of raw material. But when the stock was checked physically, every company do this. So when the stock was checked physically, there were only, let's say, 450 units only. Let's say there were only 450 units in stock. It means there is a shortage of 50 units. So very simple, we will write shortage here. And we will present it in the issue part only, that is 50 rupees. Now when talking about the rate part, very important guys, if the rate is given in the question, then you will follow the rate as given in the question. Else, since we are using Fifo method, so we will assume that this shortage is from the units that were purchased at the rate 12. So 600. Now we'll write the balance 350 at the rate 12 and 100 at the rate 10. So this is how the ledger will be prepared. And when writing about the conclusion part, we'll write we have a closing stock of 450 units of material, and the value is rupees 5,200. So this is the way the FIFO method is presented in exams. So if you guys have any doubts, queries, you guys can ask me. Perfect, Nalini. I request you guys to please take the screenshot. Now, guys, when talking about the LIFO method, it's very easy. In FIFO method, the stock which is purchased first will be issued first. And in LIFO method, the stock which is purchased last will be issued first. So let's say I have 500 kgs of raw material in balance at the rate 5,000. And let's say 300 kgs of raw material at the rate 12. That is 3,600. And let's say another 500 kgs at the rate 15. So let's say this is my balance. Now I have received a requisition that I need 700 kgs of raw material. So in that case, since it is LIFO method, so when talking about issue, the 700 kgs will be issued as 500 kgs will be issued from 15. The name itself says last in, first out. The raw material which is purchased last will be issued first. So 500 will be from the units that were purchased at the rate 15, and 200 units will be purchased. 200 units will be issued which were purchased at the rate 12. So 7,500 and 2,400 as per LIFO method. But if it is FIFO method, we can issue 500 units at the rate 10 and 200 units at the rate 12. So that is the difference between LIFO and FIFO method. So let's say this is the balance as given in the question. Now, as discussed when talking about FIFO method, if we have to issue 700 units, then if talking about FIFO method, 700 units will be first issued from 500 and then from 200. But in LIFO method, last in, first out. So the units that are purchased last will be issued first. So 500 will be 500 units which were purchased at the rate 15, and 200 units will be which were purchased at the rate 12. So that is what the difference between LIFO and FIFO method. Same here, Yogita. Very good morning. It can be anything, Somesh. If there is any surplus of material also when talking about, I repeat again, guys, let's say during the physical investigation, the material was showing a surplus of 50 units. So the surplus may be due to some mistake in entry. I mean, the mistake in the entry is what we have passed. Rest, there are no chances of surplus. So we can show the surplus accordingly also. Very good morning, Adarsh. Now, guys, two more method, that is simple average and weighted average method. Again, a very simple method of issuance, wherein the same column, that is the date, particulars, receipt, and the amount. Issue again, quantity, price, and amount, and the balance. Now, in weighted average method, we'll surely try to address your query, Shivam. Now, very important, guys, when writing the balance column, I do personally advise to write the amount column here and the price column here. Why I have done this, I'll explain you while discussing the question. So I request you guys to write the amount column first, that is the amount column first, and the price column last in the balanced part. So now let's start with the question. Let's say on 1st January, the opening balance is given, let's say 600 units which were purchased at the rate 12. So this is 7,200. Now on 5th January, there is again a purchase of raw material. If bill number is given, then you have to mention the bill number. So let's say 500 units were purchased at the rate 10. So the total is 5,000. Now, very important, guys, the total quantity will be 600 plus 500, that is 1100. The total quantity will be 600 plus 500, that will be 1100. The total amount will be 7,200 plus 5,000, that will be 12,200. So when talking about the price part, very simple, guys, the price part will be 12,200 divided by 1100. This is the way you have to write the price. I repeat again, no need to show the separate that how much quantity was purchased at what price. Very simple, you have to simply write the quantity and the amount in aggregate. So 600 plus 500, that is 1100. 7,200 plus 5,000, that is 12,200. So 12,200 divided by 1100. So this will be 11.09. Let's say on 10th January, we again purchase some raw material. Sorry guys, I did a mistake. It should show in receipt column. Sorry guys, sorry. So again, I purchased some raw material. Let's say I purchased 900 pieces at the rate rupees 8. So the total amount will be 7,200. Again, no amount in the issue column. Now, very important. Quantity amount, very simple. 1100 plus 900, that is 2000. 12,200 plus 7,200. This will be 19,400. The total amount will be, the total price will be 19,400 divided by 2000. So the price will be 19,400 divided by 2000. This will be 9.7. So very simple guys. सीधा सा क्या कीजिए 1100 plus the quantity 2000, 12,200 plus the amount 19,400. So when talking about the pricing part, the total amount divided by total quantity. This is how we will write the weight. This is how we will present the weighted average method. Now let's say on 14 January, there is issue of raw material. There is request number is given in the question, so you have to mention it. So let's say 800 units are issued. These 800 units will be issued at the rate 9.7, the price that is the final price. So 800 into 9.7. So this will be 7760. When talking about the balance quantity, very simple guys. 2000 out of 2,800 were issued, so we are left out with 1,200 pieces only. Amount also 19,400 minus 7760. This will be 11,640. So when talking about the pricing part, the pricing will remain same. That is 9.7. So this much is more than sufficient for weighted average method, and it will go accordingly. So if you guys have any doubts in the weighted average method, you guys can ask me. Again, the treatment of the shortage will be the same. If there is any surplus or deficit, the treatment will be the same as discussed in the Fifo method. We will show the shortage in the surplus column. We will show the shortage in the issue column, and the rate, that is the final rate that is given at the year end, will be used only. So if you guys have any doubts, you guys can please ask me. In the meanwhile, I request you to please copy this part. Very good morning, Madhuri. Very good morning, Rekha Kumari. Now let's discuss the simple average method. Accounting standard 2, gives no, accounting standard 2 covers only the FIFO method and the weighted average method. But since from examination point of view, examiner may ask questions on simple average method also. So I'll be discussing simple average method on also. So now guys, let's say the opening balance is given in the question. Let's say 500 units. At the rate 10, that is 5,000. This is the opening balance that is given in the question. Now let's say on 5th January, the company purchased 600 kgs of raw material at the rate 12. So this will be 7,200. So when talking about the quantity part, again very simple, 500 plus 600, that is 1100. 500 plus 600, that is 1100. The amount also 5,000 plus 7,200, that is 13,200. It's a simple weighted average method, Pradeep Gupta. Siddhappa, I am discussing the remaining part of material, where in the second chapter of the study material, that is material costing, wherein the part that is left out is the stores ledger. I am discussing that part in detail. So guys, now 500 plus 600, 1100, 5,000 plus 7,200, that is 13,200. Now this is simple average method. So we will take the price as the price 12 plus 10 divided by 2, that is 11. The name itself says simple average. It means simple average of the price of raw material. Now let's say on 8 January, again there is a purchase of raw material. 800 kgs which were purchased at the rate 11. So 8,800 raw material, the value of raw material purchased is 8,800. So when talking about quantity, the same concept, 1100 plus 800. 1100 plus 800, that is 1900. 12,200 plus 8,800. This will be 21,000. And when talking about the pricing part, we have three types of raw material: 500 quantity wala, 600 and 800. So the price will be 10 plus 12 plus 11 divided by 3. So 10 plus 12 plus 11 divided by 3. So again, $11. Do make a note of this, guys. The quantity into price will not be the amount in simple average method. Very important, guys. The quantity into price will not be equal to the total amount in simple average method. So guys, do make a note of it that we have 3 lots of raw material, that is 500 pieces raw material, 600 pieces raw material, and 800 pieces raw material. This is how we are getting 1900 pieces of raw material in quantity. I repeat again, guys, quantity into price will not be the amount in simple average method. Yes, Mantanjali, well said. The total amount if divided by the quantity will be the weighted average method. So now, let's say there is an issuance of raw material on 15 January. Now, if talking about simple average method, in simple average method, we will use the Fifo method of issuing the raw material when talking about the price part. I repeat again, in simple average method, we will apply the Fifo method also for issuance. So let's say there is a requisition received wherein they are asking for a raw material of 700 pieces. So we will simply write 700 quantity of raw material. Again, the price will be 11 only. So this will be 7700. When talking about the quantity also, the approach will be the same. That is 1900 minus 700. This will be 1200. Amount will be also the amount approach also it will be the same as discussed in weighted average method. That is 21,000 minus 17,700. That is 13,300. But very important about the pricing part, we will use the Fifo method along with simple average method. So this 700 units are issued from 500 and then balance this will be from 200. So we are left out with 400 units. So now we have only these two types of raw material in stock. That is the raw material that is purchased at the rate 12 and the raw material that is purchased at the rate 11. So when talking about the pricing part, it will be 12 plus 11 divided by 2. This will be 11.5. Very important, guys. Fifo method works parallelly with the simple average method, wherein when talking about the calculation of price, we have to keep Fifo in mind. That is, there is a requirement of 700 units of raw material. So these 700 units will be first issued from 500 units and then the balance 200 units will be issued from 600 units. So 700 units will be issued from 500 plus 200, 700 units. So when talking about the closing balance, we have only two types of raw material. That is the raw material that is purchased at the rate 12 and the raw material that is purchased at the rate 11. So the price will be calculated accordingly. Let's say on 18 January, again there is a purchase of raw material. Let's say 500 pieces at the rate 9. So 500 plus 9, 4,500. When talking about the balance part, very simple, 1200 plus 500, 1700. 13,300 plus 4,500. This is 17,800. Again, we have 3 lots of raw material which were purchased at the rate 12, thereafter the 11 wala lot, and then the 9. So 12 plus 11 plus 9, that is 32 divided by 3. So we'll get 10.67 as the rate. So if you guys have any doubts in this part, you guys can ask me. This is all what about the remaining part of material costing, that what we skipped because of the time constraint. So if you guys have any doubts in this part, you guys can ask me. Thereafter, we'll be starting with the query session. So if you guys have any doubts in this part, you guys can ask me. I repeat again, when talking about the amount part, Pooja, very simple, 1100 plus 800, 1900. 12,200 plus 8,800, 21,000. When talking about the price part, we have three lot of raw material, that is of 10 rupees, 12 rupees and 11 rupees. So 10 plus 12 plus 11 divided by 3, that is 11. Do make a note of it that quantity into price will not be the amount. Yes, Somesh, shortage will always be recorded in issue. Again, Mangeshwaran, the same approach we will use. That's what we discussed in Fifo method. If it is shortage, it will be shown in issue. It will the price, when talking about the price, it will be the simple average price that we have calculated. Mangeshwaran, as discussed, the shortage will be recorded as an issue. So let's say if there is at the year end, we should have fixed 1700 units of raw material, but after the checking the physical, after physical verification, we were having only 1600 units of raw material. So it means what? There is a shortage of, let's say, 100 units of raw material. I repeat again, as per the books, we should have 1700 units of raw material, but after physical investigation, it was showing only 1600 units of raw material. So it means there is a shortage of 100 units of raw material. As far as the pricing part, very important, if it is given in the question specifically, you have to follow the instructions as given in the question. Else, the simple average price only, that is 10.67. So this will be 1067 and the final balance will be 1600 units. When talking about the amount, the same 17,800 minus 1067. So this will be 16,733. Again, 100 units are short from this piece. So again, we have 300 units left out. So we have again three lot of raw material, that is 300, 800 and 500, that is of 12 rupees lot, 11 rupees lot and 9 rupees lot divided by 3. So again 10.67. I'll be starting with the queries of marginal costing, guys. So we are done with the simple average method also. So if you guys have any doubts, you guys can Ask me, else we'll start with the queries now. I request you to please take the screenshot. So now we are done with the material cost part, that is the remaining part of the chapter. Now, since the time is running, it's already 8 o'clock. So now guys, let's start with the query session. I'll be addressing all your queries relating to marginal costing first because it's the most important chapter of the syllabus. So let's start with marginal costing queries. 1 second guys, let me open the study material also. Sandhya Agrawal, it is advisable. I mean, I do recommend to show it separately, Sandhya. It is advisable to show separately. Yes, Rafika Memon, can you please help me out with your queries? Rafika, I have already mentioned that in simple average method, the quantity into price will not be the total amount. Jyoti Vader, not frequently. Shivam Durya, not that frequently. So I'll be discussing the questions that does not cover the graphical method. So guys, please mention all your queries relating to marginal costing, guys. I'll be addressing all your queries relating to marginal costing. Okay. So let's start with illustration number 16 because Rekha Kumari, Muskan Kumari Gupta, then I think few more have doubts in illustration number 16. Okay, Nalini C 14 illustration. Okay, so Madhuri Nikhare, illustration number 16. So let me check what is illustration number 16 first of all. So guys, I'm discussing illustration number 16 on marginal costing. So let's start with illustration number 16. X Limited supplies a spare part to an aircraft company, Y Limited. Yes, don't worry, I'm discussing illustration number 16 only. So X Limited supplies spare parts to an aircraft company, Y Limited. The production capacity of X Limited facilitates production of only one spare part. It means the X company is manufacturing two parts. They have the option either to manufacture spare part A or manufacture spare part B. They can manufacture only one type of spare part. The following are the cost and other information for the production of the two different spare part, that is spare part A and B, wherein the alloy usage is given, that is 1.6 kgs per piece and 1.6 kgs per piece for part B. Machine time, there are two machines required, that is machine P and Q, and the time required per unit is also given. Further, the target price is also given, that is 145 rupees and 115 rupees. Alloy available is 13,000 kgs at the rate 12 rupees 50 paisa per kgs. Variable overhead per machine hour is given. So you are required identify the spare part which will optimize the contribution at the offered price. So now guys, this is a very easy question wherein it is given that the company is manufacturing two types of spare part, that is part A and part B. Either they will manufacture part A or they will manufacture part B. Now there are three types of limitations that are given in the question. That is the limited hours are available for machine P, limited hours are available for machine Q, and the alloy available is limited. So let's first calculate that how much maximum units we can manufacture of part A and B. So let's talk about the three factors that are responsible for production. That is machine P, machine Q, and alloy. Now see guys, each unit of machine P require 0.6 hours to manufacture a particular product of part A. So in the given question, the total hours available for machine P is how much? 4,000 hours. So total hours available are 4,000 and each unit require how much hours? 0.6 hours. So divided by 0.6. So how much maximum units we can produce of part A, keeping in mind if the machine P is hours are constant? Very simple, 6,660 C. These are the maximum number of units I can manufacture from machine P. Now let's check that whether machine Q can process 6,666 units or not. Let's check. So here in the hours available for machine Q are 4,500 and each unit rate 0.5 hours. It means the maximum number of units we can manufacture, maximum possible production. If when talking about machine Q can manufacture and process 9,000 units, but machine P can process only 6,666 units. Now when talking about the alloy, we have 13,000 kgs of alloy with us and each unit require 1.6 kgs. It means when talking about alloy, we can manufacture only 8,125 units. It means what? Even though the machine Q can process 9,000 units, but can we manufacture 9,000 units? Practically not possible, because machine P, very important, machine P can process max to max 6,666 units, not more than that. Even we have sufficient of alloys also, sufficient of machine QRs also. But when talking about machine P, it can process max to max 6,666 units. So when talking about the part A, we can completely manufacture only 6,666 units. That is maximum possible production. We can manufacture max to max 6,666 units of part A. I repeat again, very important guys, even though machine Q can process 9,000 units, even though we have sufficient of raw material to manufacture 8,125 units, but the major thing, that is machine P can process only 6,666 units in a year. So it means the maximum number of units what we can manufacture of part A is 6,666 units. Similarly, for part B also the same approach, that is for machine P it requires 0.25 hours. So it means 4,000 divided by 0.25. So it can manufacture 16,000, it can process 16,000 units. Machine Q requires 0.55 hours. It means 8181 units. Part B, 8181 units machine Q can process of part B. And as far as alloy requirement is same in both the cases. So 8125. So again, even though we have sufficient hours of machine P to manufacture 16,000 units of part B, but since only 8181 units can be processed in machine Q. Further, very important, we have sufficient alloy to manufacture only 8,125 units. So what will be the maximum permissible production? Very simple, guys. 8125. Even though we have sufficient of machine hours, but when talking about the raw material, only 8,125 units can be manufactured out of this raw material. So the maximum permissible production is 8,125. This was the major part in this question, wherein when talking about part A, very simple, the maximum number of units what we can manufacture is 6,666. And for part B, 8,125. So either we will manufacture 6,666 units of part A or 8,125 units of part B. Now guys, you can easily calculate the contribution, the part which is getting, from the part which we get the maximum of the contribution, that part should be manufactured. So if you guys have any doubts in this part, you guys can ask me. Not that important, Shivam Durya. Rekha Kumari, Muskan, Madhuri, any doubts? No worries, Sandhya. I repeat again, guys, this is a very simple question, wherein even though the other two elements allow us to manufacture more number of units, but wherein in part A, the maximum number of units that can be processed by machine P is only 6,666 units. So at the most, we can manufacture 6,666 units only. Any doubts, Madhuri? Rekha Kumari, any doubts? So now we are ready with the number of units. Part A, we can manufacture max to max 6,666 units, and part B, we can manufacture 8,125 units. Now, which part to manufacture? Very simple, whose contribution is higher. So here in the selling price is given, the variable cost is given. So we will simply calculate the contribution per unit into the parts that we can manufacture, the part with the maximum contribution we should manufacture. Miss Pooja PS, very good morning first of all. Now very important, Pooja, it is given specifically in the question that either we can manufacture part A or part B. That's why I have solved the question in this way. How you have calculated 8125? Very simple, Pooja. The alloy available is 13,000 kgs and one unit require 1.6 kgs. So 8125 kgs maximum, 8125 units, what the maximum units we can manufacture of part B. Yes, Nalini, don't worry. Rekha Kumari, can you please write your query in detail? Okay, I'm discussing the second part also, don't worry. Now see, this one is the first part of the question. Now, when talking about the remaining part of question number first, very simple guys, you have to calculate the contribution per unit and the product part which give us the maximum contribution we should manufacture only. Now, let's say if Y Limited reduces the target price by 10% and offer rupees 60 per hour of the unutilized machine hour, calculate the total contribution from the spare part identified above. So the contribution as calculated is contribution per unit as calculated in the solution is 27 and 20. And the final contribution that is given is 27 into 6666. That is 179,982. And 1,62,500. So it means we should manufacture part A. This is the first part of the question. Now herein it is in the question it is given that if Y Limited reduces the target price by 10%, one second guys. So now it is given that if Y Limited reduces the target price by 10% and offers 60 rupees per hour of the unutilized machine hours, calculate the total contribution from the spare part is identified above. Now, very important, we are out with the decision that we will manufacture part A. And since I said there are three constants, that is machine P, machine Q, and the alloy. Now, very important, how 6,666 was calculated? Very simple. That is 4,000 hours divided by 0.6 hours. It means we can manufacture only 6,666 units because machine P was the constant wherein we can process only 6,666 units. Now, very important. How many machine hours would have been utilized for machine Q? I repeat again. Since machine P has a maximum hours of 4,000, maximum capacity of 4,000 hours, so we were able to manufacture only 6,666 units. Now, machine Q was not the constant in that case. So very simple, how many machine hours are utilized for machine Q? Very simple, guys. Machine Q, the total available hours are Machine Q, the total available hours are 4,500 hours. And since we are manufacturing only 6,666 units, it means hours consumed are how much? 6,666 units we are manufacturing, and one unit take how many hours? 0.5 hours only. So how many hours were utilized for machine Q? Very simple. 3,333 hours were only utilized for machine Q. I repeat again, as per the question number first, we have to manufacture part A. Now, Y Limited says that if the target price is reduced by 10%, we will give you rupees 60 for the unutilized hours of machine Q. So when talking about the unutilized hours of machine Q, very simple, the total hours that were available were 4,500. When talking about the hours consumed, very simple, all the hours of machine P were consumed. Since because of this only we were able to manufacture 6,666 units. But when talking about machine Q, we have some spare capacity. How much spare hours? 4,500 hours, the total hours, the minus 6,666 units we are manufacturing, and one unit take 0.5 hours. So it means unutilized hours are how much? 4,500 minus 3,333, that is 1,167 are the unutilized hours. And the company is promising that if we reduce the selling price by 10%, then very important, we will pay you rupees 60 for these extra 116 hours, 1,167 hours which were not utilized. So this is how the solution is prepared. Now here in the target price is reduced by 10%. Here in the target price, of part A is reduced by 10%. It means what? The revised selling price will be how much? Very simple, guys. The selling price of part A is how much? It is given in the question, that is 145. So 145 minus 10%. It means 145 minus 10%. My new price will be 130.5 only. My variable cost as calculated in the question is given, that is 118. So my contribution per unit now will be how much? $12.5. Now, how many units I'm manufacturing? 6. So how much contribution I'm getting? 83,325. Now, since the price is reduced, that's why there is a loss of contribution. Apart from this, we are getting how much compensation? Compensation for unutilized hours. That is 1167 into this company is compensating us at the rate rupees 60 per hour. So into 60. So this will be 700. So the total profit we are getting is how much? 153,345. So my point is, should the proposal be accepted or not? No, guys, because earlier we were getting a contribution of 1,79,000, and after this proposal, there is a contribution of 1,53,000 only. So the proposal should not be accepted. If you guys now have any queries, you guys can ask me. Contribution is selling price minus variable cost. So in that case, my selling price was 145, I think. So 145 was my contribution. So 145 minus 118. That was my contribution in part A. Any doubts, guys? Very simple. Now, I'll just give you a briefing about this question. In this question, we have three factors, that is machine P, machine Q, and the alloy. Now, these factors are available in limited quantity. Now, we will check that how much is the maximum number of units we can manufacture. So, we calculated the possible production as per all the three elements, wherein the maximum permissible production was 6,666 units, because we have the limited capacity in machine P hours. As far as product B also, since the alloy was limited, that's why we were able to manufacture only 8,125 units. So the maximum permissible production was 6,666 units of part A and 8,125 units of part B. So this is how I got the contribution, wherein the contribution per unit we have calculated, that is the selling price as given minus the variable cost, the contribution per unit into the maximum permissible production. So herein, since the contribution of part A is on the higher side, so that's why we are supposed to manufacture only part A. Now the company is giving us the option that if we reduce the selling price by 10%, then we will compensate you for the extra hours that are left out. Or the company is saying that whatever the spare hours you have of the other machine, we will compensate you at the rate rupees 60 per hour. But if the proposal is implemented, we are getting an overall profit of 1,53,000 only, 1,53,345 only, which is lesser than the first case. So that's why the proposal is not accepted. Very simple, Madhuri, when talking about machine Q, very important, the machine P was utilized in full. Because of machine P only, we were able to manufacture 6,666 units. So herein, when talking about machine P was utilized in full, now when talking about machine Q, we have available hours of 4,500 hours only. Now, How much units we are manufacturing, Madhuri? 6,666 units we are manufacturing, and one unit take 0.5 hours. It means the total hours that were consumed were how much? 3,333. So how much are the hours that are unutilized? 1167. Any other doubt in any of the illustration? I think Nalini is having a doubt. Sir, please explain illustration number 14. So let me discuss illustration number 14. There is a query from Nalini. Sir, please discuss illustration number 14. So Nalini, in this question, the selling price and variable cost and market demand and the production capacity is given. Further, the company can manufacture only one product, that is X, Y, or Z. Now, the question is asking us to calculate the opportunity cost for each of the product. So when talking about opportunity cost, first of all, those who want to copy the solution can please copy. Else, I request you to please take the screenshot. Now, herein there are three products, that is X, Y, and Z. And the contribution that I'm getting from X is how much? That is 4 per unit is the contribution, even though the market demand is 3,000 unit, but our production capacity is restricted to 2,000 units. So it means the possible contribution is 8,000 in case of X. When talking about Y, 3 into 2, 6,000 is the contribution that is for Y. And when talking about Z, it is 4,500. Now, herein the question is asking us to calculate the opportunity cost. Now, very important, guys, we can manufacture either X or Y or Z. So it means, let's say if we are manufacturing X, how much loss, maximum possible profit we could have earned? One second. Now guys, if we are manufacturing X, अगर हम लोग X मैन्युफैक्चर करते हैं, it means we are not being able to manufacture Y and Z. अगर हम X मैन्युफैक्चर करते हैं तो हमें दूसरे प्रोडक्ट्स का कंट्रीब्यूशन का लॉस होगा. अगर हम लोग X मैन्युफैक्चर करते हैं तो हम क्या नहीं मैन्युफैक्चर करते हैं? वेरी सिंपल, Y, because Y is the maximum from product Y we are getting the maximum production if we are not manufacturing X. So it means how much is the opportunity loss in case if we are manufacturing X? Very simple, 6,000. That is, अगर हम X manufacture नहीं करते तो हम लोग Y manufacture करते, because out of Y and Z we will manufacture only Y because it is giving us the maximum contribution. So it means अगर हम X manufacture करते हैं तो there is a loss of contribution of Y, that is 6,000. Very important, if we are manufacturing Y, it means we are losing the contribution of X. Because of X and Z, we will manufacture only X because it is giving us the maximum contribution. So herein in this case, if we are manufacturing Y, we are losing the contribution of X, that is 8,000. And when talking about Z, if we are manufacturing Z, again, we would have been manufacturing X or Y, very simple X. So it means we are losing the contribution of X, that is 8,000. So this is what the opportunity cost in this question. Madhuri Nikare, hopefully your doubt is resolved. Shivam Duria sir, illustration number 17. Let me check. The profit for the year RJ Limited work out to 12.5% of the capital employed, and the relevant figures are as under. That is sales, direct material, direct labor, variable overheads. And capital employed is given. The new sales manager who has joined the company recently estimates for the next year a profit of 23% on the capital employed, provide the volume of sales is increased by 10%, and simultaneously there is a decrease in selling price of 4%, and an overall cost reduction in all the element of cost by 2%. It's a very simple question, Shivam. Please try to solve it. Still, if you are not being able to solve it, then just write me a mail, write a mail to the institute. It's a very easy question, Shivam. You have to simply incorporate the things that are given in the question. That is the first thing. The first thing what you have to do is, that is increase the sales volume by 10%. So when talking about the volume, 5 lakh to 5 lakh 50,000 will be the volume. It's a very simple question, Shivam. Please try it again. I don't think you will face any sort of difficulty in that part. When talking about the opportunity cost, अगर हम लोग X नहीं manufacture करते तो हम लोग कौन सा product manufacture करते? I repeat again, many of you guys are facing the query in this question that अगर हम लोग X manufacture नहीं करते तो which product we would have manufactured? Very simple. From Y and Z we would have preferred Y. So it means there is a loss of contribution of Y of 6,000 if we are manufacturing X. And similarly, in case of Y also, if we are manufacturing Y, we have lost the contribution of X or Z. In between X and Z, we will be choosing X. So that's why there is a loss of contribution of 8,000 in case of X. There are no need to learn, try to understand the concept, Pooja PS. So moving towards the practical question now, there is a query in question number 9. Can you guys please write down the queries on marginal costing? Practical questions now, because I'm done with the illustration part. Practical question, please write your queries, guys. Practical question number 9. So let me check the question number 9. That is Mr. X has invested, Mr. X has rupees 2 lakh investment in business firm. He want a 15% return on his money. On an analysis of the recent cost figure, he find that the variable cost of operating is 60% of the sales. So herein, In question, it is given that he has invested 2 lakh rupees. He wants expected return at the rate of 15%. Variable cost is 60%. It means the PV ratio is 40% of sales. Further, his fixed costs are 80,000 per year. Show computation to answer the following figure. What sales volume must be obtained for break even? Very simple, guys. When talking about break even sales, 80,000 divided by 40%. This will be 2 lakh rupees. What sales volume must be obtained to get 15% return on investment? Very simple. My desired sales, that is my fixed cost 80,000 plus my desired profit, that is 2 lakh is my investment, and I want a return on 15%. So this will be 30,000 divided by 40%. This will be 2,75,000. Now the third part, Mr. X estimates, then even if he closes the door of the business, he would incur a fixed cost of 25,000 as an expenses per year. What would be the sales if it is better locking off of the business? 1 second, where is question number 10? Sorry. Mr. X estimates that even if he closes the door of his business, he would incur 25,000 as an expenses per year. So this is what my shutdown cost of 25,000. It means it is saying that even if he shut down the business, he is going to incur a loss of 25,000. I repeat again, guys, even if he shut down the business, it is given that Mr. X estimates that even if he closed the door of his business, he would incur 25,000 as an expenses per year. So at what sales he would be indifferent? I mean, at what sales you have to calculate the shutdown point, that उस sales से नीचे जाने के बाद business बंद कर देना चाहिए. Now, very important, guys, this concept, this is shutdown point. So now my fixed cost is how much? 80,000. Even if I shut down my business, I have to incur a fixed cost of 25,000. It means, guys, think practically that 80,000 is my fixed cost, and even though if I shut down my business, 25,000 is the loss that is anyways I'm going to incur. So at what point I will be indifferent? Very simple, guys. 80,000 is my fixed cost, 25,000 anyways I'm going to incur even if I shut down my business. It means what? 80,000 minus 25,000. 55,000 if I'm recovering extra, better to continue with the business. So 55,000 divided by 40%, that is 1,37,500. So at 1,37,500, I am indifferent that I can continue with the business also, or I can shut down my business also. But if the sales goes below 137,500, it is better to shut down the business. So I repeat again, at 137,500, this is the point that is the shutdown point. If the sales goes below 137,500, it means there are chances that we will make the loss. So if you guys have any doubts in this part, this is the shutdown point, that is 137,500. I'll check with it, Riddhi single. If you guys have any doubts, Tanishka? In marginal costing, Madhuri, Shivam, Nalini, any doubts? Any other doubts in marginal costing? I repeat again, very simple, 80,000 is our fixed cost. Even if we shut down the business, 25,000 fixed cost लगेगा ही. मतलब business चालू रखने की वजह से extra cost कितना लग रहा है? 55,000. If we are able to recover that much also, then we are indifferent. So for recovering 55,000 rupees, that is the cost, I mean the avoidable cost, that is we need a sale of 137,500. It means if we are making a sale of 137,500, we are indifferent. We can continue with the business also, we can shut down the business also. Because at this sale, we will get a loss of 25,000. Even if we shut down the business also, we will get a loss of 25,000. But yes, if the sales goes below 137,500, yes, better to shut down the business. Practical question number 17. Let me check what is practical question number 17. You guys tried practical question number 17 on your own only. So guys, if you guys have any doubts, further doubts in marginal costing, you can write a mail to me. That is more than sufficient. As far as this is the concept of shutdown point, I request you guys to please copy the solution. Further, let's take a break of 10 minutes. No, Ritika Verma, not that frequently. Eximar core, the concept is very easy. It's just like a preparation of cost sheet. So no need to worry. You just try it on your own. You will be able to solve. So let's take a break of 10 minutes and then we'll be back with the queries on standard costing. Pooja PS, very important. When talking about 25,000, agar business chalu rakhte hain, agar, see, if we shut down the business, anyways, we are going to get a loss of 25,000. So if we are continuing the business, it means what? If we recover 55,000, that is 80,000 minus 25,000, we are indifferent that either we can continue with the business also or we can shut down the business also. So let's take a break of 10 minutes and then we'll start with the doubts on standard costing. Edwin sir, are you there? Welcome back, guys. When talking about the email ID, you can write it to ICAI. Trust me, guys, I'll try to address all your queries over the mail also. I'll personally write the solutions and I'll answer to all your queries. Personally, don't worry, guys. So you can write it to ICAI. Whatever the queries, extra queries which are left out, I'll address all your queries. Don't worry, guys. As far as my personal email is concerned, I can't share. So better write it to ICAI. I'll be available over email of ICAI only. So now let's start with standard costing. Please write all your queries relating to standard costing. There is a query, illustration number 12. Anyone else having any doubts in standard costing? Question number 21. It is practical question what you are asking for. Rekha Kumari, Madhuri, practical question number 14 and 15 on practical question number 14 and 15. Madhurika, I think I have already discussed question number 14 in the session itself. Madhuri, please check. I have discussed question number 14 in the session itself. And when talking about question number 15, following data is extracted from the books of XYZ Limited for the January month. Estimation is given wherein the material A and B is given, that is the quantity is given, the price for material A is not given. There are two types of raw material, that is material A and B. Quantity of A is 800 and that of B is 600. The price of A is not given. However, the price of B is given, that is rupees 30. 18,000 rupees. When talking about the actual data, actual quantity, price and amount, 900 is the price, sorry, quantity 900 and other information is given in the question. That is material cost variance is given in the question. That is 3625 favorable. And material price variance is given, that is 175 favorable. So now let's start with the solution wherein first of all material cost variance is given. As discussed, the formula is standard quantity into standard price minus actual quantity into actual price. Now, how this formula is prepared, I have already discussed in detail. How this formula is prepared, I have already discussed in detail. So when talking about standard quantity into standard price, we don't have. But actual quantity into actual price we have is 59825. This should be equal to 3625. So it means standard quantity into standard price will be 3625 plus 59825. This will be 63,450. So we have got the total cost, that is 63,450. This will be 45,450. This will be the balancing figure. And when talking about the price part, 45,450 divided by 800, this will be 56.8125. One second, guys. One second, guys. I have not read the question completely. One second, guys. Just give me a minute. Says the output is given, so the output is not same, so we have to prepare the revised budget also. I think I skipped the output part. I thought that the output is same in both the cases. Here in the output is different. Sorry, guys. So the actual data is given in the question. wherein quantity, price and amount. So when talking about the actual quantity, it is 900. So we will first calculate the standard quantity, wherein for A, 800 is the input for 1260 output. So for 1480 output, how much? That is 939.6940. So for A, it will be 940, 600 for 1260 output. So for 1480 output, how much? It will be 705. So 940 plus 705. This will be 1645. Further, the actual quantity into actual price is given. That is 59,825. Now, material cost variance is given in the question. That is 3625 favorable. So standard quantity into standard price minus actual quantity into actual price. This should be equal to 3625 favorable. So standard quantity into standard price minus actual quantity into actual price is 59,825. This should be equal to 3625. So standard quantity into standard price will be 3625 plus 59,825. This will be 63,450. Out of this, 21,150 is what? The cost of B. So 42,300 will be the cost of A. 42,300 divided by 940, we will get 45. If you guys have any doubts till now, you guys can ask me. I have solved the first part of the question, wherein they are asking us to calculate the standard price of material A. Further, material price variance is also given. That is 175 favorable. So it means material usage variance will be how much? I repeat again, the cost variance is 3625 favorable and the price variance is 175 favorable. It means the material usage variance will be how much? 3450 favorable. Material cost variance is equals to material price variance plus material usage variance. So material cost variance is 3625. This should be equal to material price, that is 175 plus material usage variance. So this is how I got the material usage variance, that is 3450 favorable. Now, with the help of this, I can calculate this quantity that is of quantity of B. So herein, when talking about material usage variance, it is standard quantity minus actual quantity into standard price. How come this formula is derived? I have already discussed in detail. So for A, it is 940. Let standard actual quantity of B be X. So for A, it is 940 minus 900 into standard price, that is 40. For B, it is 705 minus X multiplied by 30. The total should be 3450. So accordingly, you can calculate the standard quantity for B. Sorry, the actual quantity for B. So let's simplify this equation. This will be 1800 plus 21150 minus 30x. This should be equal to 3450. So 22950 minus 30x should be equal to 3450. So minus 30x should be equal to 19,500 minus 19,500. So 19,500 divided by 30, that is 650. Value of X will be 650. So the quantity for X will be 650. So 650 into 32.5, this will be 21125. And then 59,825 minus 21125. This will be 38,700. That is the balancing figure. Divided by 900, we'll get the price, that is 43. So this is all what about this question. I think I misread the question. So anyways, if you guys have any doubts in this question, you guys can ask me. I'm discussing practical question number 15. Where this 3450 is given, very simple guys. Material price variance is given, that is 175 favorable. As I said, material cost variance has two parts, that is material usage variance plus material price variance. The cost variance is given in the question, that is 3625 favorable. Usage variance is not given, but price variance is given, that is 175 favorable. So material usage variance will be 3450. This is how I calculated material usage variance. If you guys have any other doubts in standard costing, you guys can ask me. Waiting for your queries. I'm done with. Yes, Madhuri, this is the easiest way to solve the question. I'm going with the same format, the format what I have started. I mean, what I'm using right from start of standard costing. So question number 15 is done, guys. I request you to please copy the solution. Okay, there is a query from Sneha Anand. Sir, please solve illustration number 12. So let's start with illustration number 12 of study material. I'm discussing illustration number 12, page number 13.44. The overhead expense budget for a factory to a capacity of 200 unit per month is as follows. The capacity of the factory, the budgeted output is 200 units. The budgeted overheads are given, that is fixed cost per unit is given and variable cost per unit is given and the total cost per unit is given. When talking about the actual overhead, it is given aggregate, that is fixed plus variable. So the actual overheads are given. That is 4 lakh plus 2 lakh 6 plus 7, 8, 9, 10. 11 lakh 50,000. Now, the question is asking us to calculate the overhead volume variance. Very simple. So, fixed overhead volume variance. How much units we were supposed to manufacture? 200. How much units we actually manufactured? 100. Into fixed overhead per unit, budgeted fixed overhead per unit, and that is given in the question, that is 3,000 rupees. So it means this will be 3 lakh adverse. Because we were supposed to manufacture 200 units, but we manufactured only 100 units. It means 100 units less than what we expected. So this is how I got 3 lakh adverse. Next is fixed overhead. When talking about expenditure variance, fixed overhead remain constant. So here in my fixed overheads, budgeted fixed overheads are 3000 into 200 units. That is 6 lakh rupees. These are my budgeted fixed overhead and it will remain constant at all the level of units. But when talking about variable overhead, it keeps on changing depending upon the production. So here in my variable cost per unit is how much? 1500. And the number of units manufactured are 100. So this is 1,50,000. So this much is the cost that was supposed to be incurred minus the actual cost, that is 11,50,000. This is how we will get the expenditure variance. Since R's are not given, that's why we have taken the units. So 7,50,000, that was the expenditure that was supposed to be incurred. And the expenditure that is actually incurred is how much? 11,50,000. So this is how we will get 4 lakh adverse. So this is all what about illustration number 12. No, Madhuri, out of syllabus for me. Okay, so any other doubts on standard costing, guys? Okay, Ayush Agarwal sir, actual quantity of B, how you find? It's already done, my dear. Please check the recorded lecture, Ayush. Sneha Anand, hopefully your doubt is resolved. Any other questions on standard costing? Kaveri, please check the recorded lecture of ABC. Trust me, you will be able to solve all the questions of ABC. Any other doubts on standard costing, my dear? Okay, so now service costing. Any doubts on service costing? Any doubts in service costing? Okay, Shubha answer chapter 12, illustration number 5, calculation of commercial ton kilometer in study material is incorrect. Tell me whether it is correct or not. Let me check. Shubhang, chapter 12, illustration number 5. Let me check, Shubhang. I request you to Mr. Shubhang, to please prepare the chart, and whatever the kilometers you are getting, you can take the simple average of the tons into the total. 1 second, guys. The question is a bit on the lengthier side. 1 second. You have to calculate the tons transported A to B. Total 72 tons were transported. From C to B, 68 tons were transported. In the return journey from B to A, 40 tons. Shubhang, I need to check it. I'll please drop in a mail. I need to check the solution once again, please. Shubhang, just write a mail to the ICAI. I'll reply your query in detail. I need to check the question in detail. Okay, Akash Nielsen, in practical question number 1. Let me check what is there in practical question number 1. Thank you so much, Tanishka, for the compliment. We're surely going to miss you all, my dear. No, Madhuri, practical question. The examiner do ask on byproduct. Guys, I think this, Akash Neil, this will take time to solve the questions. So guys, the time is running. I wish I could extend the session, but I'm permitted till 9:30 only, and the time is running. I request you to please write a mail to ICAI. So I'll try to address all your queries. Don't worry, guys. I do remember your names. I'll try to address all your queries one by one. Just write a mail to ICAI. You will surely get a reply within 4 days from my end. So, guys, So guys, I have to conclude the session because it's already 9:32. I request you to please write a mail to ICAI. If possible, I'll try to keep more query sessions before exams. So in the meanwhile, I request you to please write a mail to ICAI. I'll address all your queries in 3 to 4 days once I receive the mail. Don't worry guys, trust me, I'm there till the last date of your exams. So whatever the queries you have, any conceptual queries, just write a mail to ICAI. You will get a prompt reply from my end. So guys, thank you so much guys for your time and patience. It was really great teaching you. And I'll miss you a lot guys. So I have to conclude this session. I wish I could extend the session and make more sessions. So I have to finish off the things.
Mr. Bipin.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I think let me speak a few words before we finish it up.
Dr. CN Gupta is there to address you guys and help you out. So please, sir, please.
Thank you very much, first of all, for taking all these sessions for the students of ICAI. And as I can understand that you have gone through various topics in details and you have covered the topics in detail. A lot of question has been practiced. I'm sure the student has got a lot of benefit out of it. And thank you all the students also who has actively participated. It is because of you only the classes are successful. And particularly the way the cost and management accounting classes has happened. Really, it was very interactive. A lot of queries has been dealt with. And with your special request, we kept this particular class to deal with your queries. If you have any further queries till the day of your examination, you may send it to us. Already you know the email ID cma-inter@ici.in, and if required, we'll involve CA Bipin Boraji also to get your query solved. But rest assured that all the logical queries, whatever will be coming to us, immediately it will be responded with. So once again, my sincere thanks to CA Bipin Bora for his time, his involvement, excitement, and coverage in detail. And most importantly, thanks to all the students who has actively participated. I have gone through the sessions and some of the students were really, really active, participated in each and every classes. Before starting the class, they were present, and till the end, they have sent their genuine queries. So thank you once again to Mr. Bipin Bora as well as to all the students.
Thank you for your kind support, and thank you so much, students. We'll try to address all your queries. In the meanwhile, work hard, try to solve all the questions in writing. There is no alternative of hard work, so try to solve all the questions in writing, guys. So take care, guys. Wish you good luck and God bless you.